afternoon, everybody. What is going on? I am jeffgrantMEDIA. In today's unboxing and first impressions video, we've got a package that is going to keep me both warm and happy through these colder winter months. As you can see, this is a package from Huckberry. So, the disclaimer, Huckberry did send me the contents of this package for free, but all the opinions in this video are mine and mine alone. I did not share this content with Huckberry prior to publication. They will see this when you do. Now, this is part of a continued partnership I've had with Huckberry. What is inside this bag is something that we talked about, but now that it's finally getting colder, or at least I think it's going to get cold. It was like in the 40s last week, and now it's in the mid 80s this week. I was actually sweating profusely before I came downstairs to film this. So, God only knows when it's actually going to get cold and stay cold around here. This is the summer that does not want to quit. But what is inside this bag is something that we talked about earlier this year, and now that it's possibly going to get colder, we can finally start testing it. But before we do that, we have to open it and see what we have inside. Okay, I do know what's in here. There are two. Okay, good, perfect. All right, we have shiny bags that you probably can't see through. So let's take them out of these shiny dust covers and check out the actual jackets. We will start right here with what I believe to be the wool-lined Flint and Tinder wax trucker jacket. So this is the wool-lined version of the flannel-lined wax trucker jacket and the unlined wax trucker jacket that I have been wearing for some time. This is the chocolate colorway, but looking at it with my eyeballs right now, this does look a little bit more gray. Not quite the charcoal gray, but it does definitely look a little bit more gray. And I did bring down my unlined and my flannel line that are in the Havana and the field tan colorways that we're gonna a little bit later on lay them next to each other and compare the colorways. But this is the Flint and Tinder wool-lined wax trucker jacket. That was a mouthful. I had to remember which one because now I have all three versions of this jacket. Let's open the next one. All right, this is the Flint and Tinder Rancher jacket. If I can open this one. So this is the forest / dark oak colorway. So, ooh, this is not the Rancher. Okay, so I had to check the invoice. There was a bit of a discrepancy there. I was supposed to be sent the Flint and Tinder Rancher jacket, but instead I was sent the Flint and Tinder Hudson jacket. Not a big deal. The invoice does say Rancher, so the fulfillment center must have just grabbed the wrong jacket off the shelf. I'm sure the section is just all of the Flint and Tinder wax jackets are probably in bins right there, and they must have just grabbed the wrong one. So I guess we're doing the Hudson jacket. This is, I believe, this is supposed to be the forest colorway. This does look green, so I think this is definitely the forest colorway. Now, the Rancher did look a little bit more brown, and on the Rancher they were calling it the forest / dark oak. So I think it had that more of a brownish tone to it. But this definitely looks forest. This is definitely a greener colorway. Now I am gonna have to jump and check a spec out real quick because I have the specs for the wool-lined and the Rancher in my brain, and I don't have any for the Hudson. So we are gonna start with the wool-lined wax trucker jacket. This is an 8 1/4 ounce Martexan sailcloth. Now this is the same construction as both the flannel-lined and the unlined wax truckers. But both the unlined and the flannel line are a 7 ounce Martexan sailcloth, where the wool line is an 8 1/4 ounce. So this has a heavier liner and it has a heavier canvas. So this is going to be an all-around heavier, warmer jacket. And then one other difference between the wool line and the flannel line is that the sleeves of the flannel line are a quilt satin line, where the sleeves of the flannel line are flannel lined throughout the sleeves. Now, one thing I do really like about the flannel line wax trucker is that the sleeves are flannel lined. I like the feel of this on my skin as opposed to satin sleeves. I've talked about this when I was comparing my flannel-lined wax trucker to the iron and resin Scout jacket, where that also has a satin sleeves. Now, they're completely fine. I'm fine wearing them. I just felt the overall comfort of the flannel line as opposed to the satin line sleeves was a little more comfortable for me. Now, I do realize a lot of people prefer the satin line because it does make it easier to slide the jacket on and off, especially if you're not like me and you have your long sleeves down, so your sleeves will slide in and out of the jacket much easier with the satin line as opposed to a flannel line sleeve. But I believe that's where the differences end. They still have the same interior pockets. They do have the same back epaulets as the flannel line and online wax truckers. Also, the online does have that zigzag pattern as a bit of an ornate pattern on the front flap of the buttons, where the flannel line and wool line do not have that. But other than the liner, the heavier ounce canvas, and the lining in the sleeves, these should be the exact same jackets. They have the exact same buttons on them and everything, same branding. Materials are all American made from New Jersey, and the jackets are all cut and sewn in Los Angeles, California. Now, if you want to do a quick color comparison here, we have the Havana in the unlined, the field tan in the flannel line, and this is the chocolate in the wool line. Now, looking at these, there's no color grading right now. These all look completely different colors. I did think that the chocolate was definitely going to be more brown, but looking at this right now with my eyes, this definitely looks more gray, especially comparing it to the field tan and the Havana. And if I swap this over so you can kind of get an idea of all three colors together, this is Havana, field tan, and chocolate. It doesn't even compare to the Havana, which is definitely a browner color than the field tan. It doesn't look brown at all to me. But I am still digging the chocolate colorway because the very first Flint and Tinder jacket I ordered was charcoal because I wanted a gray or black jacket. And this definitely is reminiscent of my charcoal, but a little bit lighter. Now, the Flint and Tinder Hudson jacket is a British Milleraine teak wax. I think this might be an 8 ounce. It is called the British Milleraine Teak Wax Evolution 8 Wax Canvas 100% Cotton Jacket. I don't know if that refers to the weight of the canvas, because other than that, I don't see anything listed. It does feel about the same thickness, I would say. Let me grab the collar. Ooh, that's nice though. Underneath the collar is lined. That's kind of cool. I do dig that. If I'm trying to feel them, it does feel about the same, although this is an unlined cuff and this is a corduroy lined cuff, so there is a lining, a backing to this, but they do feel about the same. If I can get the little edge here, so this is 8 1/4 and this is 8, I think 8 ounce. I'd say that they feel similar, so I'm going to go ahead and say that the Hudson is probably an 8 ounce canvas. Now, this has a plethora of pockets. We have 1, 2, and we have these back side pockets that I'm a little curious how deep they go. Oh, these are, that's actually that's a pass-through. That goes all the way through. A better look at that is all the way across the lower back. That pocket goes straight through. Now, this is more of a classic hunting style jacket. This is something that you would definitely see if you're watching a show like Downton Abbey. They'd probably be wearing a jacket similar to this. So that's what this is, a more hunting style. So this is definitely a more classic style jacket. Now, this does feature both snaps and a zipper. I think it is also, yes, the zips up and down. This is flannel lined with, I feel like these might be little wool accents that are both on the zippers here, are underneath the button collar and underneath the collar of the jacket. And then the sleeves are corduroy lined, and this is flannel lined throughout the sleeve. So this is what I prefer, the feel of the flannel line throughout the sleeve as opposed to satin line. If we open this up, I do like this flannel lined interior. This is almost like a green buffalo plaid. We do have a single interior pocket on the left chest of the jacket. But now let's go ahead and try these things on. So this is the Hudson. Now, this is supposed to have a little bit boxier, roomier feel to it. The first thing I thought as soon as I put this on was, this kind of feels like a field jacket. I worked at an Army Navy store for a long time, and this feels kind of like I'm wearing a field jacket. Now, the pockets are kind of out. The belly pockets are kind of on the side. They are lined on the front side. The front side has flannel. Yes, the front side is flannel lined, where the back side is just the wax. I can button this all the way up, and I'm warm right now. Again, it's kind of warm today. It's probably 80 degrees outside still right now. but this feels pretty good. I do like the feeling of the corduroy cuffs, and I can already tell my watch isn't all scuffed up because I got corduroy and flannel, but this feels pretty good. This is definitely a different cut for me. I'm not used to this kind of cut, but I like the jacket. It's pretty nice looking. But now let's try on the wool-lined wax trucker because I'm starting to sweat. So here we have the wool-lined wax trucker jacket. Now this definitely feels a little bit more snug than the flannel-lined and the unlined, but I think that if I went with the large, much like I did on my original purchase of my flannel-lined, it would just be way, way, way too big. Now, one of the things that I'm really digging right now about the wool-lined wax trucker is that the pockets are actually wool-lined, where on the flannel-lined wax trucker, it's just the wax canvas front and back. That was one of the very few problems I had with the flannel-lined, where I wish that they had a lining in the pocket. And these pockets are lined, so it's gonna be cozy when I stick my hands in there in the more frigid temperatures when we finally get them. But other than that, I feel like this jacket is fitting a bit snugger than the flannel-lined and the unlined, and that could be because two reasons. The wool liner that is inside this jacket is probably a little bit thicker than the flannel lining, and definitely thicker than the non-existent lining in the unlined jacket, and the canvas is a little bit heavier, a little bit thicker than either of those other two jackets. So I don't know if it's necessarily heavier or if it just feels a little bit stiffer right now, but either way, I feel like it fits pretty good, and I'm glad that I did not go with a large in this, which I almost did. I saw one video where it said the large ran a little bit small, but I feel like if I went with a large, I definitely would have been swimming in the jacket. So I'm definitely glad I went with the medium. Both the Hudson and the wool-lined wax trucker are mediums, and I definitely like the way this is fitting. So I have several pieces of content planned for both of the Hudson, thought it was gonna be the Rancher, and the wool-lined wax trucker. So stay tuned, there's definitely gonna be a full real user review of each of these jackets, and then I'm gonna do some comparisons and everything. So there's gonna be a plethora of content coming out talking about both of these jackets. We just have to wait for it to finally get cold out. I am sweating pretty bad right now. It is still 70. It's down to 70 degrees. It was like 82 earlier today, so I don't think I'm going to be wearing either of these in the next week or two, but maybe when we get back from Florida, it's going to finally cool down and I'll be able to start wearing. I did almost switch from my unlined to my flannel lined last week because it got cold, and then the past 2 days it's been 80 plus. So eventually it's gonna get cold enough for me to actually wear these jackets frequently enough and test them out and do some videos on each of them. So stay tuned for several forthcoming videos on both the wax trucker jacket, or wool-lined wax trucker jacket, and the Hudson jacket, both from Flint and Tinder, which are, I should also mention, is an in-house brand of Huckberry. So stay tuned, there'll be a bunch of videos coming out. And if you cannot tell, the circus has arrived back home. That's why it got really loud here really quick. So if you like this video or any of my other videos, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Smash that big red button and ring that bell right next to it so you get notifications next time I post a brand new video. Good night.